specifically, and Diane, you talked about it, should we be working together more as mountain regions? Is there a way that we can collaborate, or should we be collaborating in ways that we're not yet doing so, or is it naive to think that we can do that? I mean, I know that's what the state's supposed to be promoting, and this state is almost obsolete and not being effective anymore. But what can it look like to?
That's really a great question. I'll try and lead off. I'm sure everyone can add a lot to this. But there is a lot of coordination in some sense of, there's the rural resort regions, that is a subgroup that focuses on the counties that have resorts and rural areas within to look at commonalities. Certainly in the Roaring Fork Valley there's a regional transportation authority that involves a lot of municipalities. There's often meetings of the minds, and as commissioners we meet, say, through Colorado County Inc. to determine larger common ground areas, as well as, say, the municipalities meet through Colorado Municipal League. On the other hand, people do come at these things from a different mindset, and it often depends on where you're sitting at that moment. So Aspen impacts Garfield County because we don't have our entire workforce within our community. There was a point in time which a lot of Garfield County was kind of happy to have the checks, and boy, look at, we don't have the jobs, you have the jobs, it worked out. But then now the pressures have changed, and it's different, and they have their own economy. It's no longer Aspen's bed community, throws the problem back up to us, and it's easier to look up at Aspen and say, why didn't you do more? And yet, as a community, we've taxed ourselves and produced about 2,500, 2,600 units of affordable housing alone for a community our size. So there's always a little teeny bit of competition. The greater the cooperation is, the better, because then you don't have what happens in a lot of places is a county approving a development for sales tax purposes right outside of the city's limit, and then another and another. There has to be cooperation, but the interests are often a little bit different. And it is easy to, I hate to say this, but it's almost the American way and the American corporate way to externalize your impacts. So when a new ski area is developed on the I-70 corridor, or this new development coming along in Minturn or something, and they say, hey, we're not really going to have that many employees. Well, everybody knows, wink, wink, nod, nod, you are, and where are they going to come from? And some other communities going to be stuck building the child care centers or not, and trying to pay for the schools and the English as second language classes or not, and things like that. So it gets very hard to have both the coordination because of the overall goal. So you have to work together where you agree and really commit to keep doing that. But there always will be some subtle differences.
I'd like to, could I just
go?
There are a number of different coordinated efforts. Garfield County has a larger Health and Human Service Department because Aspen and Rio Blanco, and I think Rob's a part of our coalition as well, haven't had as many as the numbers haven't been there for need, and so that is coordinated in the Northwest region. Rural Resort Region has looked at immigration, we've looked at housing, we've looked at transportation. We were the parent organization that started the I-70 Coalition, which is looking at transportation needs from Denver probably through to Grand Junction now, but it includes all of the communities that are at this table right now. We are beginning to work together. We've promised to work together on housing. That's going to be a challenge because we do, as Rachel said, we look at it differently. I come from the position that it's really important to create healthy communities, and to me a healthy community is a diverse population. And it doesn't mean people should be commuting an hour each way to their job and putting their kids either at home alone or in some type of program until 8 o'clock at night. So, what I think we need to do with housing in particular is put a housing plan together that's regional, that looks at how we can progress over the next several years to develop and maintain healthy communities instead of continue to push affordable housing to where the more affordable land is right now, which is way out west. And even that's a challenge right now. So we have a lot of We have a methamphetamine program that is regional now. We have a lot of programs that are being addressed at the regional level because there is recognition. And Northwest Cog actually was a big mover in helping us recognize that our economies impact each other. Our industries do. You know, we flow. If the lines we have between counties only exist because that's the way our structure was created. But you know, I have great hope that we'll be able to stop being as parochial as we've been in the past and start working through some of these issues together. And there certainly is strength in numbers. We've seen some great things happen because of that with the bark beetle issue, with transportation.
Route has tended to relate much more officially in terms of coalitions and so on with Jackson and Moffett and Rio Blanco. Ironically, not as much with Eagle, even though we do the other border. Part of that may be geography, part of it may be history. Just we haven't gotten those lines of communication with Eagle as clearly open. Also, we are not members of Northwest Cog, and there's a long history with that. We are members of AGNC, the Associated Governments of Northwest Colorado. I think part of that comes from the fact that Routt County is not only a resort county, but it is an ag county, but it's coal county too. And so many times the interest.
And so we'll find much greater success if we come up with well thought out solutions that will address all our problems rather than fighting against one another to try to meet those demands. Lake County is another county that we have to partner with. We have so many people who have traditionally come in from the Leadville area. But if the GIN project in fact goes through, we lose. Yeah, we're gone. We're in big trouble.
Right.
And as well as with Climax Mine reopening, it used to be that we were drawing. You know, when you said well, I lived in Vail for 14 years, and when my husband said, let's look about moving down Valley, you know, I thought he was talking about Eagle Vale. I had absolutely no idea that gypsum was going to become, you know, our reality. And people say, oh, it's so far to drive. Well, it's much closer now than it was even 10 years ago. It's no big thing. And but rather than pulling from, you know, having the West be gypsum and .0, now the West is rifle and silt. We have a number of people who commute into Eagle County, and it's projected that we'll be seeing upwards of 30,000 people in the next 5 to 10 years, perhaps coming from that area. Well, those are the same people that Tracy's looking for. Those are the same people that Rachel's looking for. You know, we're all in competition, and those are the same folks that are finding work right out their back door. And so now people are actually commuting from farther. I mean, they're commuting from Grand Junction up Valley. We have contractors commuting from Denver because they can bring their help from Denver at a cheaper rate than they can, because they can't find it. So it's huge, and we're in competition with Summit County for employees, and so all of those needed infrastructure pieces have got to be strengthened and in place just so that we can keep people here at home.